Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today, November 2nd, 2024. It's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful evening. Let's give a shout out to everyone here in the chat. It's great to see you, Gandhi. Much love, Roving Fungus. Exit 101, good to see you. Ganymede's Doodle, good to see you. Nikosmas, much love. Rowie, 6'6", good to see you. Griffin, much love. Daphne, much love. Atma Kieran, much love. Lord Patrick, great to see you. All right. Barb West, much love. No Tiger. Sorry, guys. Marissa Rising, much love. And Mother Rhea, all the love in the world. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Okay, so let's talk about our astrology. We're still in this wild energy, double Scorpio, Scorpio moon, Scorpio sun. It's an intense moment. It's a powerful moment. It's beautiful energy. It's that time when we can really have deep emotional expansion, when we can really go to the depths of our connections and really understand where we're coming from. We're all going to be feeling sensitive, open, a little on edge, but at the same time, we are freely expressing. We are really showing our true colors, and we can't really hide it, So if there are issues, they're going to come to the fore. And if things need to be discussed, they will be discussed. And if you can go in that flow with love, this will be in transformative, growing, powerful energy. Embrace that, Scorpio. Move and flow. Take advantage of this ability to really be in that emotional depth, to feel things, and learn to change, learn to adapt, learn to grow with those around you. Beautiful, beautiful energy. All right. Let's talk for a moment about the title here. Seize the opportunity and leap into adventure. And if you notice, there was a picture of Medea, very famous painting. I drew the Princess of Wands when I was thinking of this title. And the Princess of Wands is such incredible energy, fiery, transformative energy about truly embracing life with that enthusiasm for passion, for love and transformation. Medea is that figure who stood up against the tyranny of her parents and saved and protected foreigners, and who out of love did so much wild acts, but remind us, right? All in the name of love, truly wild, powerful energy. Lust for life, exactly, Gandhi. Seize the opportunities around you, leap into life, follow those passions, be that creative genius, and transform the world around you, right? Beautiful, beautiful energy, intense energy, but love it. And I wanted to read for you guys a beautiful poem that the muse sent to me. It's called The Secret by Paul Dunbar. What says the wind to the waving trees? What says the wave to the river? What means the sigh in the passing breeze? Why do the rushes quiver? Have you not heard the fainting cry of the flowers that said goodbye, goodbye? List how the gray dove moans and grieves under the woodland cover. List to the drift of falling leaves. List to the wail of the lover. Have you not caught the message heard already by wave and by breeze and by bird? Come away to the river's bank. Come in the early morning. Come when the grass with dew is dank. There you will find the warning. A hint in the kiss of the quickening air, of the secret that birds and breezes bear. The secret that birds and breezes bear. That profound nature, that profound message, right? That deep, inspiring silence. Transformative. All right. We are now going to go to our Ganapati Oracle. Ganesha Ganapati is the divine child, the Lord of beginnings, the guardian of the thresholds, and the master of the Ganas, the spirits of Shiva, those spirits that transition through worlds, the Lares in Roman mythology, the Kurites in Greek. Oh, and we got two that shot out at us. Okay. Wildness. We have first, let's go here. Openness. Openness. What better energy to have for the double Scorpio? Be open, be yourself, go to the depths, expose who you are, embrace these energies. And when you are authentic, you will see if that people around you truly know you, if they truly love you, if you truly love them, if you connect. There's a power in this openness, right? In that honesty. And it is so hard, right? This is a reality. It is so hard for us to be honest with even ourselves, right? We're always donning masks of a kind. But under the Scorpio moon, you are laid bare. Under that Scorpio sun, we are laid bare. And we have a moment, we have this transitional energy of change where we can be and we can express ourselves freely. Take advantage. Drive. We've received this energy many times from Ganesha. It's powerful energy, and it always makes me think of the Chariot card, right? Here, Ganesha is on his throne, pulled by beasts, holding the whip and the reins, in total control of his movement, where he is going, right? Willed direction with that power of movement to go, right? When we talk of the chariot, we talk of that energy of donning the armor, right? Taking responsibility and taking action, moving into the world, and with that knowledge that there will be resistance and challenge, but with the strength and power to overcome. In pursuit of what? What is the chariot geared towards? The lapis lazuli, the purple, that spinning top, right? That Hecatic energy, that virgin. And this is what we're driving towards. This is where we're going. This is what it's about. It's about finding that image, that muse, and pursuing after her in that defensive mode, in that loving mode, right? In that responsibility mode. I also think, of course, of the great story of Arjuna and Krishna on the battlefield of the Mahabharata, right? And what do we see in that story? You have the king looking over the battlefield, seeing his loved ones, his friends, family members, with their arms raised against him. He is bearing the totality of the weight of that king power. We often talk of the king and all of the benefits that the king has, but there's also that incredible responsibility. And that's what we see in the story of Arjuna, that responsibility to go to war against your loved ones. And Arjuna has a moment of doubt. He has a moment of doubt. He cannot bring himself to do it. And so he speaks to the great Lord Krishna. And what does he say? He says, "Why is this my fate? Why can't I run off into the woods and be a yogi, pursue love for God? Why do I have to don the armor? Why do I have to engage in this?" And what does Krishna tell him? It's because this is your fate and you have to. You have to go through the trials and you have to suffer. But also he tells him that if you do not, the world will be so much worse. So much worse. Right? Chariot, the drive is about taking responsibility. It's about recognizing what your dharma is and where you need to go, what you need to pursue. And it's about doing so willingly and facing the trials that are ahead. Facing the trials that are ahead and recognizing that the trials we face, we have to, whether great or small, and all of them are trials nonetheless. Interesting. All right. Intense energy from Ganesha, openness and the chariot. Be honest and bare your soul and pursue what you desire. Be in that loving energy and go through the trials and tribulations. All right. We are now going to go to our sortes. For those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to send us a message through the text. Today we're going to begin with Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained by the great Milton. All right, muses, what is the message from Milton? Of them the highest, for such of shape may seem, prince above princes. Gently hast thou told thy message, which might else in telling wound, and in performing end us. Wow. I'm going to read the top line I missed so that we have the whole sentence here. Celestial, whether among the thrones or named, of them the highest, for such of shape may seem, princes above princes. Gently hast thou told thy message, which might else in telling wound, and in performing end us. Which might in telling wound and in performing end us. Why would it end you and why could it wound? Right? What is this energy we're speaking of? It's that Lucifer energy. It's that energy of knowledge, of unveiling, right? Celestial, whether among the thrones or named of them the highest, for such of shape may seem, prince above princes. Gently hast thou told thy message, which might else in telling wound and in performing end us. The energy of that Lucifer is always about bestowing that knowledge. What you do with that knowledge is your own prerogative, right? He gives you the power to unmake and remake creation, to create or destroy in equal measure the secrets of the universe. What do you do with it? What do you do with it? Some of us built a nuclear bomb, right? All right. Let's continue. We're going to go to The Divine Comedy by Dante. Muses, what is the message from Dante? Inspire us. Nor was it any use to me to gain inspiration to call him back to himself, in dreams or otherwise. He valued them so little. Wow. Wow, this is a weird one. Nor was it any use to me to gain inspiration to call him back to himself. Inspiration is that muse power, right? We're saying, I am not going to invoke that power in order to bring you back out of the dream, back to himself, in dreams or otherwise. In dreams or otherwise. The person is totally lost to all sense, internal and external. Wow. He valued them so little. He valued them so little. So let's read it one more time. Nor was it any use to me to gain inspiration to call him back to himself. In dreams or otherwise, he valued them so little. This is an energy that's deep. What do you value? What do you love? Do you love the world? The muses will not call you back if you do not love the world. Do you value what you have experienced in the dream, in the real? Or are you just pissing life away? Wow. Interesting. Let's continue. Okay. We are going to go to a well-read book, The White Goddess by Robert Graves. Okay. Muses, what is the message from Robert Graves and The White Goddess? Inspire us this evening. I have been a fierce bull and a yellow buck. I have been a boat on the sea. I fled vehemently on the foam of water. I have been a drop in the air. I journeyed as an eagle. God made me of blossom. I have been a tree stump and a shovel. I fled as a spearhead of woe to such a wish for woe. I have been a blue salmon. I have been a spotted snake on a hill. I fled as bristly boar seen in a ravine. I have been a wave breaking on the beach. On a boundless sea, I was set adrift. This is beautiful. And it comes from the romance of Taliesin. Wow. I have been a fierce bull and a yellow buck. Two sides of that coin, the twins, right? You have representative. It's not about the gender, it's about the energy, right? You have the fierce bull, the Dionysian power, that Apollonian power, and you have the yellow buck, that Artemis power. And this immediately, I almost forgot to mention this to you guys because I get so caught up in what I'm doing. But earlier this evening, I was sitting outside with my partner and we're enjoying the breeze and the night air, and a deer just walked by. A deer walked by out of our neighbor's yard, crossed the road, crossed into the yard, stood right by us, maybe 10 feet away, paused, looked over, and then went on its merry way, alone by themselves. And we were debating whether it was male or female. We couldn't tell. But you have that Artemis and that Apollo energy here. I have been a boat on the sea. I have been a boat on the sea. This is a profound mythical image of the hero's journey, right? Jason and the Argonauts, the first ship ever, right? Odysseus. I fled vehemently on the foam of water. I fled on the foam of water. Does this not scream of the mythology of Uranos and Aphrodite? What happens to Uranos after he is castrated by Kronos? That phallus falls to the earth, and that blood that rains down hits the waters and turns into foam, and out of the foam is born Aphrodite, Uranos reborn, feminine and on the earth, a polar flip. I fled. She flees from the sky, wounded on the foam of the water. I have been a drop in the air, a drop in the air. This is just an image, I believe, of showing us that grand interconnectedness, right? The moisture, the water we breathe, the air, everything is so close yet apart. I journeyed as an eagle. The eagle is that Zeus energy, right? The absolute ruler, the top of the food chain. God made me of blossom. God made me of blossom. That blossoming energy. This also makes me think of the Kori, the changing of the seasons, that youthful virginal energy that brings new life. I have been a tree stump in a shovel, a tree stump in a shovel, cut and dug up by the roots, absolutely desecrated and destroyed. Think about the brutality of that image. If you were the tree, if you were the stump. I fled as a spearhead of woe to such as wish for woe. I was the spearhead looking for violence, looking to cause pain. I have been a blue salmon, right? The salmon is that image of fighting against the current, going against the waves. We always talk here on the channel of harmony and synchronicity and all of that. Often the salmon is the one who runs upstream in order to lay their eggs, right? In order to mate in the pools. They fight every step of the way. I have been a spotted snake on a hill. A spotted snake on a hill, right? The snake is that masculine energy, right? But it is also that monstrous other, the fearful demonic force, and that poison that is also a saving entheogen that brings inspiration, right? Everything also like the masculine represents. The masculine you have to see this through the eyes of that virgin, right? What is the masculine to the virgin? It's a snake, right? It's something that could be incredibly enticing, but also incredibly terrifying. And the masculine is capable of all of that, right? Interesting. And to be on that hill, the hill is that earth mother, right? She is the mountainous rises, the snake on the hill, the snake in the earth and in the grass, that chthonic energy. It also makes me think of the Lares, the genii of Loci, right? Often the snake. We see this with Aeneas, right? I posted a passage today from the Aeneid, and it talks of that genius of place. Aeneas is not from Italy. He doesn't know of the traditions. You know, someone who was from there would have immediately understood that that snake was the Larry of that home, and would have seen that it was a beautiful helper and would have made offerings. But Aeneas is unsure and scared because he's that foreigner, and he's confronted with something that appears monstrous, but is actually the most beneficial and loving of spirits, of deities, right? Ones that were worshipped in every home in Rome. All right. I fled as a bristly boar seen in a ravine. Now they become the hunted, flying into that ravine, seeking refuge among the thorns in the dark places. Right? Seeking that refuge to run and hide, and being that pig, the lowliest of animals, that, you know, I have been a wave breaking on the beach, a wave breaking on the beach, losing your entire essence of self on the shores, collapsing, drying out, ripped apart, right? On a boundless sea, I was set to drift. What is our galaxy? What is our planet but set adrift on a endless sea? What are we all but floating in a vacuum in space? Beautiful. Wow. I love that one. That was a good one. Thank you, Robert Graves. Everyone should go check out Old Boy's most recent live stream. He talks about the Pelasgians, and Robert Graves reconstructs the Pelasgian myth. I haven't seen it all, but old boy does mention it. I'm sure he gets into some Robert Graves on that stream. It should be really cool. All right, let's do one other sortes here, and then we'll hop to our tarot. So we're gonna go to A Sinister Assassin by Antonin Artaud. All right, Muses, what is the message from Antonin Artaud? Inspire us. Driven away with the exception of the one and only Naneka, depicted already 1,000 times. This action is bewitching, furious, implacable, atrocious. It's not trying to deal with anything, neither is it preoccupied with anything. Wow. Driven away with the exception of the one and only Naneka, depicted already 1,000 times. Right? Often when you see 1,000 used in the ancient Greek, it is synonymous with infinity. It is a number that was seen as so big you couldn't imagine something greater, at least in the ancient, and it became this kind of slang. Driven away with the exception of the one and only Naneka, depicted already 1,000 times. We're seeing that muse energy on display. For Artaud, Naneka is that muse, the one that stays and inspired, the one and only. This action is bewitching, furious, implacable, atrocious. It is not trying to deal with anything, neither is it preoccupied with anything. This action is bewitching, furious, implacable, atrocious. Wow. He feels himself being engaged with that nature, bewitched, right? And it's making him furious. He feels it's an atrocity being committed against him. There's this great resistance. It's not trying to deal with anything, neither is it preoccupied with anything. There's a wild connectedness you see with Artaud and the muse clearly, but there's also this frustration that Artaud often exhibits, an inability to fully grasp or understand. And what I'm seeing here is that when faced with the loving nature of his muse that is not invested in any kind of preoccupation, right? He doesn't know how to react to it. Right. Yet it pushes him forward into action. Why can't she just tell you what to do? That would defeat the entire purpose, would it not? What is the point of life, right? She's there to help inspire you, but she must remain silent. Okay? You're meant to take responsibility. You have to ascend the throne and take action for yourself, my friends. This is part of the whole thing. The thing is about doing the right actions and not being a dink, for lack of a better term, not being the tyrant. You have to hold power and not use it. Right? And we all have to go through this cycle of becoming that mature adult. It's beyond hard. It's beyond hard. Yeah, building that tower. It's almost impossible in some ways. But that's why we have to be dragged through life, to go through these experiences, to refine ourselves and to learn these lessons again and again and again and again and again, right? Eternal recurrence until we get it, until we are mature enough to play with the big kids and be seated at the big kid table. All right. That's why it's a mystery. You can't tell people, if Even if you knew the answers, they wouldn't mean anything, right? It's like if you were to be shown, I've talked about this before, if I was to profane the mystery for you, it wouldn't matter because you would have no understanding of what it means, right? Like we have some of the key mystery things. Like, for example, we know that the drum and the donkey are beyond important, and that this also connects to the Seder plate, and that this is a necessary image. But I tell you this, and it means nothing to us because we have no idea in what context the drum is important. We can all speculate till we're blue in the face, but the answer means nothing without the journey. The answer means nothing without the end and the shield, right? It's so many levels of things, and the phylactery. And it's these images are so complicated. They're so complicated. But it's beautiful and it's profound, you know? And when you do you go through that path and you finally get to the answer. And when you realize a secret, it's so beyond rewarding. It's like the most transcendent feeling. I highly recommend you all engage with this material. Let the muse guide you. Learn, read, be transformed. Have things revealed to you. You don't, but you got to go through that learning process, and no one can give you the answers. Even if they did, you wouldn't understand it. And there's been several times in my life when I did learn something, and then I went back and went, how did I not see it? How did I not see it? All right. We're now going to hop to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, snappydts@gmail.com. All right. Today we're using the Tabula Mundi Tarot of M.M. Moline. And we are going to invoke that energy of Saturn. And we ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and expose it upon the plate. And we want to know how we can rise above the conflicts, how we can best move and flow, how we can evolve, and how we can manifest our true wills. And what is that greater message for our community? All right. And as always, that center card is our most important card. And today's center is Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Beautiful. The Knight of Cups is that mature energy that is in pursuit of that emotional loving connection, right? Who wants to be in reciprocal flow with the world and be in that loving, transformative connection, right? He has love to give and wants to receive. Beautiful, mature energy of riding and flowing with that energy as that mature defender. All right, let's continue. The Knight of Cups, though, is not enough. We have a partner for our Knight of Cups. We have a partner for our Knight of Cups. We have the Knight of Discs, Fire of Earth. Fire of Earth. Wow. Powerful, powerful energy, the Knight of Discs. The Knight of Discs is that absolute builder, right? That mature actor who can transform the world around him, that gardener, right? Like the Knight of Cups, it is that mature actor who wants to be in that reciprocal flow, in that community, as that defender, right? The knights protect the princess. They save the queen, all of that such, right? This is the highest kind of ideal these energies are striving for. Wow. The Hanged Man. So what I'm seeing here from all of this connection is that we're getting two energies that need to be invoked and balanced for us to meet the requirements in order for us to fully embrace this moment and to evolve and to transform. We have to become, in one sense, that mature builder, that gardener, the one who does the hard work, right? The one who does that action in the earth, who has the strength to build and do what is necessary to move and flow. This also connects to that chariot that we had from Ganapati Ganesha, right? Now we look at the king, the Knight of Cups, right? That emotional flowing energy, that loving energy, that connecting energy. What I'm seeing here is that whatever we're trying to build, right? It needs both of these energies. That tower, in order to truly manifest, it needs that outgoing love. It needs that building energy. And these need to come together in practical harmony. And we can manifest that energy when we engage that power of the hangman. The hangman is about going through that process of transformation, facing one's fears, gazing into the abyss and being transformed and making the active change, making an active change, right? I always think of Odysseus. Odysseus, when he is confronted with the sirens, what he does, he straps himself to the mast so that he could gaze at what he's afraid of, you know? And he listens to the song of the sirens, and this causes him to change course, right? He takes that knowledge and transforms his journey because of it. Or we can think of great Odin, Odin upon the tree, who makes that sacrifice in order to gain the knowledge of life and death, right? But the point is, you have to go through that process. You have to climb your mast and gaze into the abyss, and then you have to do something about it. Gain that knowledge and transform. So, why do we need this night? Why do we need this night? The hangman is that energy of understanding and planning and making a different change. So, part of the lesson of the hangman here is about reflecting. In what way does the energy of the Knight of Cups serve our greater purpose? In what way does the energy of the Knight of Discs serve our greater purpose? What are we being called to do? What do we have to overcome? What are we facing in our abyss? Let's continue. I had a request. So here's the back of the card. You can't, hard to make it out there, but it is a hologram, and it does have abracadabra as triangular sigils on the top and bottom. All right. So we have here, wow, we've been seeing the Eight of Cups indolence quite a bit. This has been a truly intense energy for us in the last little while. But it's interesting that it's connected to this Knight of Cups, because we're seeing the solution to the problem of indolence in the Knight of Cups, right? We're seeing the solution in the Knight of Cups. Indolence is that energy, right, of imbalance. We're, there's too much indulgence. There's too much indulgence. We're not in that proper refinement. There's an over-engaging. There's an overstimulation with the improper connections, So what we're being called to with that mature 9 energy is about refinement. It's about engaging in reciprocal flow, In this energy, there's too much, there's too much. We are being taken from. There's that energy of over-engaging and not having that energy come back to us. With that loving flow, you need to be sated. It needs to flow properly. If there's an overindulgence, you lose sense of self. Think about Attis. Attis overindulges in the waters, and through that, he gets pulled down into the mud. And it is in the depth of the mud that he recognizes the light of the mother, and that through that power of the beast, he can transform himself and come out of the mud and out of the waters and into that middle path, The loving cup energy is that. It's loving energy, but if people are taken from you, if you are over engaging in these kind of mindless pursuits that are just wasteful, it's becoming problematic and it needs to be transformed, right? We need to be that mature actor of the Knight of Cups, and we need to bring that energy back into the six, that reciprocal flow of pleasure. Where's this going? Actually, not bring it down to the reciprocal flow of pleasure. We're going to kick things up a notch to the 9 of happiness. We're going to kick it up to the 9 of happiness. 9 of happiness. Right? It's not that we are over. Oh, wow. This is changing things a bit. From the 8 to the 9, right? It's about what people we're engaging with. Not so much the over engaging. The happiness comes when we're in that reciprocal flow. It comes when everyone is sharing. And then the thing with the 9, what's so powerful with the 9s is that it's that expansive outward energy, right? It continues to grow and expand and connect to others. It's that inspiring energy connected to the muses, right? And it's the most powerful number. So this is about us transforming our relationships and our connections into ones that are not only meaningful, but ones that spread joy and happiness, that are in that reciprocal flow and that inspire others. Now that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Where's this going? Yeah. We've been seeing this quite a bit. That foundational energy, right? That inspiring energy, that 3 of flow. This energy really connects to me personally. I feel it deeply. It's that trinity of energies in your life, these core relationships that become truly inspiring, that are leading to new emotional connection and abundance, new ways of perceiving. And what this abundance does, these core relationships are what are going to help us transform that indolence into happiness, right? We do it through that incredible love. Again, right? It's all about expansion with the 3s. The 3s are that abundance because they're in that expansion. The 9s are that happiness because they're the finality of that expansion in the set. Until we grow to something bigger, we ascend a new level. We transform the world around us. Beautiful. I love that. Let's continue. Okay. Prince of Discs. Interesting. Connected to that Knight of Cups is the Prince of Discs energy. Right? The Prince of Discs, that airiness of Earth, right? The Prince of Discs is that one. It's that young man energy. We had this the other day too, right? We had this the other day. That Prince of Discs energy is that one who is high-minded and is grounded in the earth, but is trying to transform the world around him, is in this kind of divided mode, right? On one hand, he's completely in the earth. In one hand, he's completely in the sky. And they're showing up as a prince, selfish and immature, right? Selfish and immature. But also trying to transform the world around them, trying to grow, right? Trying to do something. And we see this energy again connected to that Knight of Cups, into that indolence. You know, what this is showing me is that the Prince of Discs is that energy that we are coming out of, that we are shedding as we mature and we rise to the occasion. As we rise to the occasion, you know, we need to become that Knight of Discs, that Knight of Cups. We need to be the mature actor who can do what is necessary to build the tower, who can transform that indolence energy into that happiness energy, right? Who can go through that hangman process, who can face their fears and do what is necessary. right? To take responsibility, like that chariot donning one's armor, right? Let's continue. Oh, beautiful. Six of Swords, reason, science. The most positive of the air cards, the most balanced of the air cards. This is the middle path, knowing where to go, right? Balancing logic and instinct, manifesting what you need, right? And what I'm seeing, which is interesting, is that we have this science connected to the Prince of Cups, and we have the science also connected to that Knight of Discs. So our issue as the Prince is not one of reason. The issue with the Prince is not one of reason, right? The Prince is connected to reason. The issue for the Prince is one of maturity, right? The issue for the Prince is one of action, right? You have those high-minded, airy ideals very clearly. We see that 6, and we know what is true, what is right, and what we need to do. The problem is the Prince doesn't want to do it. It's very, very, very true, right? Prince doesn't want to have to do the hard work, which is kind of hilarious because they are the one who does the hard work. Let's continue. Oh, wow. We also see the futility here. 7 of Swords, futility. 6 and 7. Being completely pulled in 2 radical directions. We're seeing the issue at full display. It is that issue of anxiety, imposter syndrome, right? Imposter syndrome. We have the knowledge. We know what is right. We can see things from that very logical perspective, but we still don't act. And it is beyond reason that we're not acting, right? We're not acting because of that overthinking. And that overthinking is born out of this belief that we are just a prince, right? We're just that immature person pulling the cart. Fear, anxiety. But we have that reason. You know better. You know better. We know better. And yet the futility persists. But connected to that futility is that hanged man. That hanged man. And also connected to that futility is that abundance. What is this about? It's about taking responsibility and becoming that mature actor, gazing into the abyss and seeing that what you need is loving connection. That kind of love, that abundant love, that 3, it comes when one is willing to sacrifice elements of the self. And true maturity comes when you can sacrifice elements of the self. What do I mean by this? What separates the prince from the knight? Okay, the knight saves the princess. The prince possesses the princess. Okay, very, very different things, you know, very different ways of approaching. One is in that self-serving. One is in that selfless service. So what the energy is telling me, in order to overcome this futility, it is about going through that trial and tribulation, taking responsibility and becoming that one who can protect and defend, right? Who can pursue that loving connection and take that responsibility. All right. Interesting. Beautiful energy. I'm now going to flip and we're going to take a look at the full spread. But once again, before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does help. It boosts everything in the algorithm. and it would be a wonderful blessing and just good karma. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, please reach out, snappyddts@gmail.com. Also, here we go. All right. So let's take a look. We'll start here with that knight. Well, this is beautiful. When we can fully embrace reason, when we can fully embrace science, that is when we become that knight of discs, right? We become the knight of discs when we give up that futility. And what is that knight of discs? What does that builder achieve? They achieve the 9 of cups, that happiness, that loving, reciprocal, flowing energy, that expansive energy, that energy of transformation. Beautiful. And it's very clear. It's about embracing that reason, which the prince already has. He just needs to let go of the futility that comes with it. Let's continue. That Knight of Cups, right? That Prince of Discs is manifesting that indolence. You know, we're engaging in community, but we're doing so in a self-serving way, in a way that's not in reciprocal flow. Part of it is us, part of it is the people we're connected to, but there is an imbalance here. There's a nastiness here. And it goes away when we can embrace that energy of the Knight of Cups, right? As well as the Knight of Discs. When we become that mature actor who pursues love from that selfless energy, who wants to be in reciprocal flow, and also has the maturity to know when to cut, when to move on, who to engage with, who, you know, how to protect themselves and protect everyone around them. You know, the Knight doesn't allow riffraff into their life to threaten others that they care about, you know? Now, let's go here to the Hangman. The key to overcoming this futility is about two things. One, it's about facing your fears, going through that transformation and taking action, right? But what does those actions result in? It results in us pursuing that loving connection, that abundance, building that community, engaging in that process of spreading our love in that expansive reciprocal flow that'll eventually transform and manifest the 9. But in order to gain this abundance, we have to face ourselves, right? We have to see ourselves as that prince, and we have to transform into the knights, into the ones who can take responsibility, who can be in that reciprocal energy, right? Who can transform that 8 into the 9, right? Through the power of that reason and through the power of that active change and through that connection, through those loving relationships that are cornerstone, right? It's these energies that will provide you with the perspective that'll lead to that reason. Look, when we look at our cross here, not only does the Knight pursue that love of, and does that love transform us into the Knight, but that love is what brings the reason from those new perspectives that we can harmonize with, right? Reason, science can only exist in community. It is not something that is ever alone. All right. Now we look here, right? That Knight of Cups, again, when we become that mature actor who pursues love, we can transform that futility back into reason, and we can manifest the 9. That profound, expansive, loving, transformative energy. You know, and it begins with building this emotional community, and then we can manifest that tower. It's all a process, and the process begins with recognizing where we're at, recognizing where we need to go, climbing up onto that mast, listening to that horrific song, gazing the monster in the face. And then when it's over, you climb down the tree and you do something about it. You change direction. You make that change that will manifest that abundance. You let go of that futility. You are the Knight. You are not the prince. See the logic. The logic will show you clearly you are the knight. The prince is only here because of this futility. It is the prince that manifests that indolence. It is the knights that'll bring that happiness. And it's all about taking responsibility, like we saw with Ganesha, being in that open flow, right? Being that one who can truly connect and be in that loving energy of reciprocity and understanding in that mature way. It's that mature actor, right? And that's what it's about. Take responsibility, become the knight, pursue love, and transform yourself, embrace reason. You know, you are what you say you are, right? You are what you say you are. We need to get over this kind of imposter syndrome. We need to let go of these beliefs that hold us back. You know it's not true. You know it's not true. All right. That's the message, everyone. I hope it resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. All right, everyone. Let's do one final sortaise, and we'll call it an evening. The Stranger, Albert Camus. Muses, what is the message from Camus? I didn't speak unless I had something to say. I didn't speak unless I had something to say. Hail Diamuta. Thank you, everyone. Peace and love. And I'll see you tomorrow for more live tarot and sortes. Take care.